Hello friends, today we will discuss a new topic, refrigeration. This topic is very important for students who are preparing for GAT, SSC, JEL, MVSI and many more competitive examinations. In this refrigeration system, today we will discuss our part first, basic concepts. The first basic concept is classification of matter. Friends, as you all are aware about the types of matter, we know that matters are classified into two categories, solid and fluid. The fluid is further classified in liquid and gases. There is a further state which is known as the vapor, gases or vapor. Now, if you are using solid as a working fluids, it means if you are using working fluid as a solid, then we are dealing in mechanics of solid. If you are using a liquid as a working fluids, then we are dealing in fluid mechanics. But if we are using gas or vapor as a working fluids, then the total concept we are dealing in thermodynamics. It means on the basis of the working fluids, we can say the gas or vapors are used as a working fluids in thermodynamics or refrigerations. Now there is a difference between this gas and vapor. Gas, which cannot be condensed, at low pressure. But if you are considering this vapor, then we can say which can be condensed at low pressure. This is the basic difference between gas and vapor. Now we also know that the gases are further classified into two categories. It can be a real gas or it can be a ideal gas. If you are considering this solid, liquid and gases, then the second concept which we are using is the phase change, which is also a very important concept in thermodynamics or refrigeration system. The phases are solid, liquid, gas, or we can say vapor. The conversion of solid into liquid, liquid into gas and gas into liquid and liquid into solid. This process in this direction, if we are applying some heat, it means we are applying some heat, then by application of the heat, solid can be converted into the liquid and the process is known as the melting. Further, if we are applying the heat, then liquid converted into the gas or vapor, the process is known as the evaporation. But if we are removing the heat or absorbing heat, then the process in this direction, the vapor converted into the liquid and the process is known as the condensation. Further, if we are removing the heat from liquid to solid, then the process is known as the freezing or solidification process. In this phase change, a very important concept is phase change always occurs at constant temperature and pressure. This is very important concept. Phase change always occurs at constant temperature and pressure. Let us taking an example. If we have a 25 degree centigrade of temperature, and if we want to convert it into a minus 15 degree centigrade temperature, firstly we are removing the heat to convert 25 degree centigrade into 0 degree centigrade. It means this state is still water. This state is still water. Further, if we are removing the heat, then the 0 degree centigrade water converted into the 0 degree centigrade ice. Now if we are further removing the heat, then it is converted into the minus 15 degree centigrade ice. This is the phase change in which there is only a temperature is sensed but no phase change occurs. It means ice is ice, no phase is changed, but there is a temperature difference. This is also a phase in which the phase is not changed but only a temperature is sensed. That's why this heat is also known as the sensible heat. Heat required to raise or lower the temperature. This heat is also known as the sensible heat. But if we are considering this 0 degree centigrade to 0 degree centigrade, then water converted into the ice, it means the phase occurs, and we know that the phase occurs at constant temperature. It means the temperature is constant and constant pressure. Then this heat is known as the latent heat. This is the complete concept of the phase change. If you are considering thermodynamics and refrigeration, it is a very important concept. Now the third concept in our refrigeration system is the properties of this vapor or phase. Now we are considering the working fluid is a vapor state, but if we are considering this vapor is a water vapor, then this water vapor is termed as the steam, which is used as a working fluid in your thermodynamics. But if we are using the working fluid in terms of vapor, but this vapor may be any other, which is known as the refrigerant, then we can say the refrigerant vapor. Now this refrigerant vapor is not a steam. If you are using the word steam, it means it is only a water vapor. But if you are using this refrigerant vapor, then it is also termed as the vapor. Now the various properties of this vapor, if you are considering that in a container, this is our liquid, we are applying the heat and it is converted into the vapor. This vapor is considered as a mixture and all the mixture rules are applied. If you are considering that the mass of the liquid particles present in these mixtures are mv and mass of the gas particles are present as the mg, then the total mass of mixture mg plus mv. Then we have defined a ratio which is known as the dryness fraction. X. The dryness fraction means, as per the word is the dryness, means it indicates the dryness of, and the dryness is denoted by this, the presence of the gas. Then we can say it is the ratio of mass of the gas upon mass of the total mixture. This dryness fraction is given in your problems by two methods. It means we can say it may be a directly given or it may be a indirectly given. Always termed as the percentage. On the basis of this, we can define a vapor into a three category. First is known as the wet vapor, second is dry and saturated vapor, third is superheated vapor. Now if we are considering this wet vapor, it means some wetness is present in this wet vapor. If there is no any wetness, completely dry, it means only a gas stage is there. Completely gas stage, it means this Mg is completely gas, this Mv is 0, then Mg equals to M, that's why the X equals to 1. It means at this dry and saturated state, the dryness fraction is unity. But if we are considering this superheated vapor, then in this superheated vapor, the gas state is present but having a higher temperatures. These are the various types of vapor. Wet vapor, dry and saturated vapor and superheated vapor. But if we are considering it is a water vapor, then we can also term a word steam. Wet steam, dry and saturated steam and superheated steam. For calculation of the properties of different types, we are using a table. We are considering that this is the phase change. Then if we are increasing the temperature, then applying some heat. If this state is achieved, and this state is known as at the boiling points. If the boiling point is achieved, then this state is achieved. If you are using the further another pressure, if you are using a higher pressure or if you are using a lower pressure, then these are the different pressure lines, and the locus of this all boiling point and the locus of this all this point is, or this line is known as the saturated liquid line. Start to evaporation start, and this line is the complete evaporation takes place. Then the locus of this line is known as the dry and saturated line. In between this zone, the wet zone or wet vapors are present. In this is the superheated zone, and this is the complete liquid zone. If the liquid is at the boiling point, then we can say this is the saturated liquid line. If the converted whole liquid into the converted the gas, then this line is achieved, then it's known as dry and saturated line. Now if we are applying the heat, then if we are considering only this pressure line, then for this pressure line we are saying that this much of heat, because this is a fluid line or liquid line, saturated fluid, we are denoting it F, we are denoting it Z. It means the properties at this point is always denoted by the suffix F. If you are considering the enthalpy at this point, then it is known as the HF. If you are considering the enthalpy at this point is always a gas state. It means the enthalpy of this is the Hg. And if you are considering in this transition from fluid to gas, then the enthalpy is termed as HF to Z, fluid to gas. And if you are considering any point at here, then the enthalpy is termed as the superheated enthalpy. And if you are considering from this to this, then this enthalpy is known as the enthalpy of superheat. Termed as the H super. Now if we are considering that this is our wet zone, and we know that the wet zone is always defined by the dryness fraction X. If we are considering this wet zone, it is termed as the X. Then we can find out the property of this wet. Then enthalpy of the wet steam is equals to this point, then complete HF plus HFG. If we are applying whole HFG, then converted it to the dry unsaturated, but in this we are applying the X portion. Enthalpy is calculated by this formula, HF plus X HFG. Similarly, if we want to convert the entropy of this wet, then the entropy of wet is SF plus X SFG. If we are considering the volume of this, then the volume of this wet steam is, you know that the volume of the liquid is F, volume of the gas is Vg, Vf, Vg, but we know that the X defines the percentage of the gas state. It means the gaseous volume are X multiplied by Vg, but the rest of 1 minus X is the fluid. That's why the volume of the wet steam is 1 minus X into Vf plus X into Vg. We can also calculate the internal energy by using the first law of the thermodynamics or by the help of the enthalpy equations. We know that enthalpy is the change in internal energy can be also be calculated. And if we are these are the properties for our wet vapor, but if we are considering it is a dry and saturated, then by putting X is equals to 1, then the enthalpy of this dry and saturated is HF plus HFG, entropy is SF plus SFG, and the volume is Vg. We are considering X is equals to 1, then the volume is Vg, it means it is a Vg denoted by Vg symbol. These are the property for dry and saturated. But if we are considering the third superheated state, then we know that the superheated state starts from here, from this point to this point, and this temperature is the Tg temperature or saturation temperature. From this point to this point, up to this point it is Hg, but from this to this a change is there, and this change is known as the from saturated to superheated is known as the enthalpy of superheat. If we are considering this enthalpy of superheat, then the enthalpy of superheat is this from saturated to superheated states. And enthalpy of superheat, we know that enthalpy is always CPdT. That's why the value of this superheat is Cp into temperature difference Ts minus Tg. This is the enthalpy of superheat. But if we want to calculate the enthalpy of superheated steam Hs, then the enthalpy of superheated steam is Hg plus this Cp Ts minus Tg. But if we are considering this Cp in terms of kilojoule per kg Kelvin, then this should be in capital letter. But if we are considering this Cp in terms of kilojoule per kg degree centigrade, then this may be in Ts minus Tg. enthalpy of superheat. We can also calculate the entropy of the superheated steam. Entropy of superheated steam is equals to your Sg up to this, and then entropy change from this state to this state, which is always the Cp log E Ts upon Tg. This is the entropy of superheat. We can also calculate the volume of this superheat if we are applying a state equation from this to this. Then by state equation we know that state equation is Pv upon T is constant, then Pg Vg upon Tg is equals to your Ps Ts upon Vs, but we know that the pressure is constant, cancelling out this. Then the volume of this superheated steam Vs is equals to your volume of this PVS upon Ts. That's why the volume is equals to your Vg into Ts by Tg. This is the volume of superheated. This complete is for our superheated steam. These are the properties which are very useful properties while we are using a vapor as a working fluids: wet state, dry and saturated state, and superheated states. If we want to identify which type of the state is in our numerical problem is there, then we have to identify that the wet state is always identified by x. It means the value of x may be given, and the value of x may be a direct value or indirect value. In direct value, it is directly given that 85% dryness fraction, but if indirectly it is given that there is a 15% of moisture contents. If the 15% of the moisture contents are there, it means if you are considering it is 100%, then the rest of 85% are gas particles. That's why the value of the dryness fraction is 85%. Indirectly, it is given in terms of percentage of this vapor particles in wet steam or wet vapors. If we are considering this dry and saturated, then how can we identify whether the steam or vapor is dry and saturated? Then for dry and saturated, the word is given, word as it is given, dry and saturated. And if we are considering that superheated steam or superheated vapor, then the superheated is always identified with temperature. It means if the pressure and dryness fractions given, it is a wet condition. If the pressure and word is given, dry and saturated, it is dry and saturated. If the pressure and temperature is given, it means our working fluid having a state of superheat conditions. These are the properties of vapor. If we are considering a water vapor, then this can also be termed as the properties of steam. Very useful for our calculations in thermodynamics as well as refrigeration. Now the next concept is very important concept, plotting of graphs. The various graphs are used in our refrigeration system and thermodynamics. Various graphs are used. We are dealing that PV diagrams are there, TS diagrams are there, HS diagrams are there, pH diagrams are there. These are the various diagrams which are used for our calculations. If you are considering with this PV diagram, then two properties are required for plotting a graph of PV diagram. In this HS or TS diagram, the two properties are temperature and entropy. Two properties are pressure and volume. If this is a phase change working fluids, then we know that there are the two lines, saturated liquid lines and saturated gas lines. This graph is just like in this fashion. This line is F line, this line is Z line. It means a narrow gap is there, and the intersection of these two is known as the critical points. If you are plotting this TS diagram, then in this TS diagram, having some white cap F and Z, and the intersection of these is also a critical points. If we are plotting a HS diagram, then you are familiar with this HS diagram and Mollier diagram, but this if we are using a word Mollier diagram, then the Mollier diagram is always used for a steam, and if you are plotting this, then this type of the lines are there, F, Z, and the intersections of this is known as the critical points. And if we are using this pH diagram, then the lines F and G are, this is the F line, this is the Z line, intersection is critical points. It means a point is defined which is known as the critical points. The critical point is the point at which suddenly the convergence of all the volumes into the vapor states. Now if we are considering the further lines, then in these horizontal lines are the constant entropy lines. This is the constant temperature lines. The vertical lines are constant entropy lines. These are the lines which are used, and if we are plotting this type of the lines, these lines are the constant pressure lines, these lines are the constant temperature lines, these lines are the constant entropy lines, and if we are using constant enthalpy lines, then they are plotted in dotted, which are the constant enthalpy lines. These lines are used in the TS diagram and in this HS diagram, but if we are considering this Mollier diagram, then it is for steam only. These are the constant pressure lines. We know that from this to this the phase is changed. It means the temperature and pressure are same. After then these lines are the constant temperature lines, and if we are considering the lines here, these lines are the constant dryness fractions line, and the constant dryness fraction at this is equals to your 1 at this, and this line is termed as the dry and saturated line. And if you are considering these dotted lines are also given, this type of the lines, then these dotted lines are the constant volume lines. Horizontal lines are constant enthalpy line, H is equals to C line, and if we are considering the vertical lines, then these vertical lines are the constant entropy lines. This is the HS diagram. In this pH diagram, these lines are the constant temperature lines. These are the constant temperature lines. Constant pressure lines. If you are plotting the vertical lines, then the constant enthalpy lines. If you are using the lines, these lines, then constant entropy lines. And here is also some dotted lines are there. Then these dotted lines are constant volume lines. This is the pH diagram. This is HS diagram. This is PV diagram and PS diagram. Now mostly in refrigeration systems we are using this and these diagrams. These two diagrams are widely used in the refrigeration systems.